All right, we've got the instructions. Obviously, Kent doesn't need it, but I do. And we've got one already built. So I'm gonna give it a go and set up the engine stand first before we get started on the actual engine. All right, there's a brand new engine stand, all set up. Now we want to have a look, well, I want to have a look at the block and find out what's involved. But before that, the transmission and the alternator needs to come off. So Kent, do you want to show us how the transmission is attached to the block?
Well, there's a series of bolts. Here, all the way around.
They look like 9/16s.
We'll have to take them out, and then we'll have to get it jacked up because you got to disconnect the torque converter from the pressure plate.
Okay.
And I think that's 6 bolts, and they're kind of hard to get to. We'll have to get it.
Well, can't we just put this on the engine stand so we can turn it around? You can't.
It bolts to the engine stand right here.
Oh.
See, this is the back of the block, which
Yeah.
is the back of your block. You can't put it on an engine stand until you get the transmission off of it.
It bolts onto the engine stand?
Yeah.
Okay.
The engine bolts to this stand right there.
So all one
Until we get
here,
that transmission out of the way.
that's what these for is
Right.
for? Okay.
Yeah. They move around to different positions so you can get one at each one of them bolts around through there.
Okay.
So yeah, all that right there has got to come off before we can even put it on the stand.
All right.
So we'll jack it up, push it over out the door,
Mm-hmm.
and drop the transmission right over there because it's going to get fluid everywhere.
Well, that's it, isn't it? Last time there was a little bit of fluid already coming out.
Yeah.
So are you going to put it in an angle, put a pan underneath it?
We're going to let it stick out the door.
Okay.
I'm going to raise the door and let the tail end of the transmission stick out the door
Okay.
so it can drip out there on the gravel instead of in here.
All right, let's get cracking. Now for this, I'm going to put my gloves on.
I guess I need to go ahead and raise this door first. That's the first thing Mike noticed about me.
What, that you had grease under your nails?
No, that I had the toughest, roughest hands that he'd ever felt in his life.
He actually did mention that.
Yeah.
He goes to me, he goes, have you felt Ken's hands? And I'm like, no, not yet.
Yeah. He even made, what's his name, that guy that works for y'all, or did work for me.
Oh, yeah.
Sato or Silvio.
Yeah.
He made him shake my hand so he could feel my hand.
So, okay, so you're very proud of your dirty, tough,
Hey, ain't that bad.
greasy hands. Me, on the other hand, everybody, I got myself some gloves. Okay, take a good look, see how clean these gloves are. This is the only time they're going to be this clean. And I'm looking all pretty clean as well, so.
We'll probably set the transmission back on that
Okay.
after we get it loose.
That's perfect. That looks good. Just careful not to kick your camera when you're walking around.
Yeah, pretty much a 9/16.
That's what I thought.
We're going to take this one. We're going to leave that one and take this one and this one out. We'll go ahead and take all these under here out.
Okay.
And then we'll lower it to the ground and take these two, and then it should slide out.
All right, sounds good. So I can just loosen up this one,
Right,
and take
and
all the
this
other
one.
ones out of the.
Loosen these two, but don't take them out. Take all the rest of them out. There's
Might need to spray it
two
a
over
bit.
there, two over here.
Do we need to spray it, or they're oily enough?
No, they got plenty of oil.
It's not like taking the bed off or the cab off.
Yeah, they got plenty of oil.
We had to oil it. Okay. Geez, these come out a lot more quicker and faster than anything else. All the bolts there. Okay, so are you going to put some kind of a solution inside that?
No, you're not going to use them bolts.
No. So that's just rubbish.
Yeah, I just use them.
I can't seem to get in here. How did I get into the other one?
See.
Yeah, the wrench. No, yeah, I do. All right, so 9/16 bolts. We're here, and there was 2 at the top, and another 2 on the side. And then we're going to turn this around and do the bottom. And like Kent said, we've just loosened up these. We're going to keep these on so it doesn't fall apart when we turn it around.
Yeah. And your other bolts are down here. See right there?
Oh, yeah.
And you can get on it back here. And you got to take this one out, then you got to crank it. You got to turn it around till you get to the next one, which is up there, and you got to go up, take all
We've got
them
to turn
out.
this around to get the other bolts that are on the inside.
Mm-hmm.
Okay.
You got that other wrench?
Mm-hmm.
And I'll take this one off and show it and spin it, and then I'll show you. I said it would. Yeah. It's tight. Well, go this route. Well, it's got nice up here today, hasn't it?
Oh, yeah. It's beautiful.
This will help me get some leverage. I have seen some motors that they're so wore out.
Mm-hmm.
I've
Well, they
seen
got no teeth.
motors that are so wore out that you can just about turn that by hand, just with your hands. Or you can turn it up here with this. Because it's just, there's no compression left. You're to the bow, just gotta come down a little more. But that's,
Ow.
you got one that you can turn over like that,
I really hurt
it's
my
wore
jaw. I
out.
punched my jaw. I swear. You know, when pain comes in afterwards, I'm like, ow. And what would wear it out? Just because it's an old motor and it's
Yeah,
been
it got a
driven
lot
so
of
much.
miles on it.
Mm-hmm.
This one seems to still be pretty tight. I mean, it looks
I think it's not a bad motor. Remember when we turned it on?
By looking at it, it looks like it would be wore out, but it's not. That's good right there.
The engine that the guy was taking off, a couple of them on YouTube, they were gone. Like, these are stuff they picked up for like $100, right?
Yeah.
So all the pistons had been blown.
Mm-hmm. Yeah,
I think we might have a good engine just because we turned it on, we drove it,
yeah.
it sounded good.
Yeah, there's no doubt it's a buildable engine. It's just
We're gonna start slow, you know, put some headers on it, see how it is, and then maybe add a supercharger or two onto it, or two.
yeah. Probably ain't gonna take a supercharger too well.
You don't think so?
No.
I've seen the 350s get supercharged.
Yeah, but most of them are got a good block, good bottom end. Which is going back to what I was telling you earlier about the 4-bolt main and stuff.
Yeah.
And I'll show you that when we get this off. That I'd be surprised if it's a 4-bolt main.
Oh, you got so much room at the front now.
Right there.
Take off the top bolts that we had loosened up, and that should just drop this ass right down. I'm expecting this to like open.
No, that's about as far as it's gonna go on its own.
Oh really? We have to pull it out?
Yeah, there's a shaft that sticks through that
Okay.
that we'll have to jiggle it out of, but once you get that out.
There we go. That's what I wanted.
A cable that when you step on the throttle,
yeah,
it pulls a lever in that transmission and makes that transmission automatically kick down into a lower gear, so you can, like, you know, when you mash on the gas and it goes,
yes,
and it kicks down into a lower gear. That's for like passing people and stuff like that.
Is this the oil we check in our oil in the everyday car? Like
transmission fluid.
Oh.
It's
that I know.
The oil for the transmission, yes.
Okay.
It's this way now.
I mean, out of curiosity. You know what? This is what I'm saying. This may not be bad. Check that out.
Yeah, it's full.
It's full.
Yeah. Yeah, it ain't a bad transmission, I don't think. It ain't.
And that's to disconnect the wires.
That's just a little kick down cable. Now we got to disconnect it right here. It should be able to do by squeezing.
Squeezing.
Some pliers and squeeze them in. And then do it with this screwdriver. These little side pieces, you have to push them in. And that side's out. Let's see if I can get this side. There we go.
Okay, so that's disconnected. We still got to disconnect the alternators to get to the main block.
We gotta disconnect that so we can.
Is that the flywheel?
Yeah, we gotta get it off there so we can bolt it to that.
Okay.
That's the only other thing we gotta get off, and then we'll be able to mount it to your engine stand.
Because that's what gets mounted on these parts here.
Right. Yeah.
Okay, I'm with you. The first things that we do is take the oil out, see if there's any oil in there. That's the oil pan. Drain it, and then after that, we've got to take the oil pump, which must be that. Is that the oil pump? Or the filter?
Fuel pump.
The fuel pump. Basically, these 4 things, we've got to connect it to one of these, the 4 of these holes.
Yeah.
But we need some long bolts.
I don't know if that one's gonna make it out there. It might. Yeah, there we go. Okay.
Alright,
Yeah, we gotta have
awesome.
long bolts. I think I've got some.
They didn't give us any in the bag?
No, they don't come with the engine. Oh.
Because of the washers, we've got to position this a little bit more higher up, like there. So,
What do I need to do?
well, see how the washers are so big?
Mm-hmm.
It's getting in the way here.
Yeah,
Or is
it's
this
because the
one
whole
go
thing
up?
needs to come over
There
that
you go.
way.
Yeah.
think we got it. Just don't put one of that one's. how that washer got down in there.
What's all this hair?
Hmm?
What's all this hair on it?
Probably a possum or something was climbing around on the motor. That one we found in the seat.
Yeah.
It's probably crawling around on it.
Ew. Now this is the other remains of it. Why do I ask? Why do I ask? Alright, we've got our engine bolted on to the engine stand.
Got one more bolt to tighten. Here.
Woo, the engine's not moving.
Let's get all this garbage off of it first.
Okay, what garbage are we talking about?
All this stuff. The air compressor, alternator, power steering pump, hoses, hose.
Just have a bare block to start off with.
Well, not totally bare, but yeah, at least most of this stuff that's just in the way.
Okay.
All these accessories, we should get them off, and then we can get to everything better and drain the oil.
Alright, I can start on this end here. Looking at
Yeah, you can start with the air compressor. I mean the AC.
this one here.
Yeah, that's the AC unit.
There's the hoses, all of that are connected to
Yeah,
it.
it's got a bolt here, a bolt here. That bolt's not in there, so it should just be them. Oh, get a bolt here, in here, and two up here, and that should come off there and there.
Alright.
And now I'll get to work on this.
Can I borrow that wrench for a second? Brackets for the compressor.
Over there, here.
I've got a whole cards over there, little square cards with steps on how to take down the 350 engine. I don't know about you, but we're gonna have to get some lunch soon.
Yeah. I'm hungry.
I'm hungry too. Alright, so Kent's already taken off the fuel pump and the filter, but we want to turn this around so we can get the oil pan off. there, and there's a whole bunch of these 7/16 bolts. It just looks like it's going to be a lot of fun to take off. There's a lot of antifreeze still coming out. Alright, so as Kent was saying, 7/16 bolts all the way on the side here, but it's 1/2 inch at the front, which has got one here and one on the other side, and same thing with the back end. Alright, let's get this off. It's nice and greasy. So is this where the pan had a little cap on it when you drained the oil?
Right here?
Yes.
Yeah.
Okay, where is that?
That's your oil drain plug.
Okay.
It's in that bucket.
What did it look like? Is it just a screw off?
It looked like a bolt.
Oh, it was a
Like
bolt.
that.
Okay.
Yeah. Pretty greasy motor, huh?
Oh yeah. That's a good thing, isn't it?
Yeah, had some leaks, that's for sure, but it ain't all rusted up.
No. That's why I've got the gloves on today. These bolts are so messy.
I don't really like reusing bolts when they're like that. I just get rid of them and get new bolts. Especially head bolts, you know, you don't want to.
Now,
I don't like reusing head bolts.
who gives me the, where does the oil pan comes from? Is it part of the engine or part of the transmission? Would the LS have its own oil pan?
Should have.
Because I know you can buy that separately as well. We're going to swap over to the 1/2 inch. It's a lot easier than taking the bed apart and the cab apart, okay?
Yeah. Need a screwdriver to get that off.
What is all that?
Gasket.
Yeah, but why is it coming off?
Oh, okay.
What is that?
A bolt.
Okay.
Oh, that? Dirt dauber's nest.
A dirt dauber's nest.
Yeah.
What's a dirt dauber's nest again?
A dirt dauber is a black wasper bee
Ah.
that makes a nest out of dirt. Oh, that's 7/16.
Oh.
I think they sting. I've never been stung by one.
Never seen one.
Yeah.
There's the oil pan. Yeah, I've got the gloves on. Woo! Well, that actually looks good.
Boy, you got lucky.
That actually looks good. And I don't know what a bad one is supposed to look like, but what I can tell is that's really well oiled.
Yeah, that's real good. That's 4-bolt main.
4-bolt main. Okay, now this is what we were talking about before, Kent. You have to explain to me, what do you mean by a 4-bolt
See right
main?
here. 1, 2, 3, 4. That's a cap, and it holds this crankshaft in place.
Okay.
Okay, here's.
Turn that radio off when you go there. So it's a 4-bolt crank because it's got 4 bolts. And I'm about to find out what's the difference between the 4 and the 2 bolt. So.
Okay. So this holds your crank in place. And if you got a 4-bolt, your crank can take a whole lot more pressure, meaning it can make more power. because 4 bolts is, it's stronger. It's got 4 bolts holding it. Where this one over here is my one I just took out. There's my new one. But you can see there's only 2.
2 bolts, okay.
This block couldn't take the pressure that block can, because it's just got the 2 bolts holding the crank in place. It can still be built somewhat to make power, but a 4-bolt main block is a lot better and stronger than a 2-bolt.
Now we know that this is an aftermarket engine because we had a look at the casting numbers.
Yeah, it's an aftermarket engine, but this was still an original engine at some point before it was remanufactured. Don't know what exactly it come out of, but this engine come out of something.
Okay, and then it's been...
And General Motors took it back in on trade and they rebuilt this engine. So this engine could have potentially come out of the same year truck as what it was in. It was just remanufactured. This engine was originally built for a vehicle at some point. And when they remanufactured it, they just put that label on it saying it was remanufactured, but it still come out of something.
Okay.
With it being 4-bolt main, I'd say it come out of something that made probably pretty good power.
So with it being a 4-bolt engine, what does that tell us on what we can do with this once we rebuild it?
Well, like you can build, like I said, you can build them both, but I'd feel more comfortable adding the power that you're wanting to add to a 4-bolt main versus a 2-bolt main.
We've got some numbers here as well.
Manufactured 165055. You could probably look that number up and it would tell you what years this motor came.
Where was those casting numbers again?
They're on the top side. Let's flip it back over. Orange bore, large journal, small block with driver's dipsticks. I've made these blocks by the millions, around 68 to 79.
Okay, that's what makes sense because over here, these other numbers that we had actually did have, here we go. So this was made in February of 68.
Okay, yeah.
There's that number there too, which I can't read.
This is saying they made this from 68 to 79, so this is probably the first year of this block.
Okay.
And the numbers you was talking about with the letters in it is up front.
Off the pan, the next thing is we've got to take off the valve covers.
V. I think you're right. That is a 0.
All right, well, Kent, before we do that, these are valve. What's all the other stuff here?
Intake, valve covers, head, block.
Okay, so still a while to get to the block. We've got to take these off first and then the intake. Is that the intake manifold?
Yep.
Okay. Intake manifold and then
Heads.
the heads, that's right.
Here and here. And then you're left with the block, crank, pistons.
There's a lot of oil leaks everywhere here, right?
See, I don't like that.
That's build up oil?
It's build up oil. I don't know what causes that, but I've had some old timers tell me that's the type of oil that you use. And some oils are bad about that.
So if you use better oil, you won't get that buildup?
You won't get it this bad.
There's chunks there, isn't
At
it?
least that's what I've been told, and I don't know if there's any truth to that, but I've seen this in a few engines. Of course, I haven't done a whole lot of engines, but see how
Yeah.
goopy that is?
You're all on your own with that goop, Kent.
Yeah, it's a lot of it, and it's thick. Can't believe it wasn't in the oil pan like that. It's all in the heads. But it's just,
So these is all the valves?
the valves are inside these springs. These are the rocker arms.
Rocker
That's
arms?
push rods,
Push rods?
springs, and the valves inside the spring.
Okay.
And you'll see the bottom side of them when we pull the heads off.
Okay, so now we've got to pull each one of these off, the heads.
Right now we need to pull this intake off.
Intake first?
Mm-hmm.
Okay.
Then we can start taking them off and take all the bolts out. There's bolts in here. There, 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 there.
Oh, I see them.
And then
Okay.
all these here.
All right, but first we've got to take off
Right, that.
the intake manifold, which is connected by...
One bolt, two bolts, and I think the rest of them's done been took out, taking all the accessories off, so 2 bolts.
2 bolts.
9/16.
What about here at the front? Is it connected anyhow at the front?
No.
So this here is where it's going to be separated?
Yeah,
Okay.
there's a gasket there.
All right.
I
That's
don't know.
build up oil?
It's build up oil. I don't know what causes that, but I've had some old timers tell me that's the type of oil that you use. And some oils are bad about that.
So if you use better oil, you won't get that buildup?
You won't get it this bad.
There's chunks there, isn't
At
it?
least that's what I've been told, and I don't know if there's any truth to that, but I've seen this in a few engines. Of course, I haven't done a whole lot of engines, but see how
Yeah.
goopy that is?
You're all on your own with that goop, Kent.
Yeah, it's a lot of it, and it's thick. Can't believe it wasn't in the oil pan like that. It's all in the heads. But it's just,
So these is all the valves?
the valves are inside these springs. These are the rocker arms.
Rocker
That's
arms?
push rods,
Push rods?
springs, and the valves inside the spring.
Okay.
And you'll see the bottom side of them when we pull the heads off.
Okay, so now we've got to pull each one of these off, the heads.
Right now we need to pull this intake off.
Intake first?
Mm-hmm.
Okay.
Then we can start taking them off and take all the bolts out. There's bolts in here. There, 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 there.
Oh, I see them.
And then
Okay.
all these here.
All right, but first we've got to take off
Right, that.
the intake manifold, which is connected by...
One bolt, 2 bolts, and I think the rest of them's done been took out, taking all the accessories off, so 2 bolts.
2 bolts.
9/16.
What about here at the front? Is it connected anyhow at the front?
No.
So this here is where it's going to be separated? Okay.
There's a gasket there.
All right.
The 4-bolt main is really surprising to me. It's hard to find.
They're hard to find?
It's getting harder to find a 4-bolt main block. Most of them's been destroyed.
Okay, I think that's 1/2 inch.
Not bad. Nope. 9/16.
9/16? Oh, I had 7/16.
1/2 inch.
I got it.
Here's a deep well 9/16.
Better. Can't really
Let's get
So what is these circles over here on the manifold? What is these? What were they used for?
Your carburetor sits on top of that.
Okay.
Your fuel and air goes in right there.
Okay.
Turn it up this way. About right there.
Oops. Nope. Didn't get it in right. Yeah, it's getting it. We're getting there.
We're going to keep all this stuff.
We're going to keep those?
Yes.
So when it comes time to rebuilding the engine, the rocker arms...
You won't use them. But I just want to keep them. They're, you know, they can be good.
Okay.
They can be used.
They look like they're in really good shape.
Rocker arms, we can keep the
Rods?
rods. Probably keep the lifters.
What's the lifter?
Lifters is right there.
Oh, okay, yep.
The cam spins and the lifter
They go up and
is
down.
what runs on the cams.
I've seen computerized versions of that,
Yeah.
and it's pretty cool. So
Yeah.
now I can actually see it here. And
So we're going to pull all this off so we can get to the bolts that actually hold the heads on. We're going to take these all off.
okay.
All the way across here so we can get to them bolts then and take the heads completely off.
They look like all like 7/16s to me.
These are probably 5/8.
You know what? You might actually be right, Ken. All right, everybody, we're getting into the guts of it. Got myself a 4-bolt main 350. So that's good news, because when we build this back up, we're definitely going to try and increase the power on it. But as for now, check out all this stuff. It's like oil residue, oil buildup. All right. Okay, so now we've got to take the heads off.
Yeah, let's go ahead and take the heads off. We'll work the sides on them. I'll work on this side and you can work on that side.
Yep. After we take the heads off, then we got to take off the what do you call this? The actual. What are the side things here?
Where at?
This block here.
This is the heads.
This is the heads.
Mhm.
So I'm calling these the heads. What are these then?
Them are your rocker arms.
Rocker arms. Okay, we've got to take the rocker arms first,
Right.
and then we've got to take the heads off and the header off. Okay. I'm with you.
Okay.
There.
We're going to keep all this stuff.
We're going to keep those?
Yes.
So when it comes time to rebuilding the engine, the rocker arms...
You won't use them. But I just want to keep them. They're, you know, they can be good.
Okay.
They can be used.
They look like they're in really good shape.
Rocker arms, we can keep the
Rods?
rods. Probably keep the lifters.
What's the lifter?
Lifters is right there.
Oh, okay, yep.
The cam spins and the lifter
They go up and
is
down.
what runs on the cams.
I've seen computerized versions of that,
Yeah.
and it's pretty cool. So
Yeah.
now I can actually see it here. And
So we're going to pull all this off so we can get to the bolts that actually hold the heads on. We're going to take these all off.
Okay.
all the way across here, so we can get to them boats then and take the heads completely off.
It's not working? Well, we want to get bigger heads, right?
Right, you want heads that's gonna make some power.
Yes, so
And that's probably gonna be, like I said, aluminum. I like them.
aluminum heads.
I like them AFR heads. I think it's the name of them.
Now, if we get bigger heads, does that mean that we're going to get a bigger header as well? Or just the heads? Like, and how would they fit if this...
They're not bigger. They're the same size.
Okay.
They just flow better.
Oh.
They flow.
I'm thinking they're going to be actually physically bigger than
No,
this.
they just work this part in here and that part out there, put bigger valves in it.
Okay.
Just things that makes them flow and work a lot better than factory heads.
This is why we're doing this, because I'm thinking, okay, bigger heads, physically bigger heads.
No, they'll be exactly the same size. They just flow better.
All right. So our rods.
Yeah, they just pull out. And they got a hole in them.
They got a what?
Hole, because oil comes through that. That's what lubricates everything.
Yep. I have seen that in action actually.
They just pumps oil through it, keeps all this stuff lubricated.
I didn't know that they were this small though.
Mm-hmm.
When you see things on the computer and when they show you the insides of the engine, everything is like magnified
Oh yeah.
and zoomed in.
Yep.
But that's the rod where the oil gets put in through to come through to all the pistons and lubricate everything.
Yep, lubricates all this
How
stuff.
small it is. Wow. And even with just this small, how much has piled up here?
That's over the course of years and years to do that. Just sludge building up, and it builds up in here, in the valve covers, in the head, and then it seeps through these holes here.
And that's how it's gone all the way in
And
here.
it's just collected right in this area here, right in the center.
So I'm guessing nobody has taken this engine apart.
No, probably got a 70, 80,000 miles on it, maybe more, and it's never been taken apart since it's been rebuilt.
Okay, so now we've got to take this big thing off.
Yep.
Come on. All right, I got trouble on a couple of them.
That one too?
Yeah. So why? We're both using a machine.
Yeah, this is a bigger one.
Okay. And this one here.
See all of them.
Oh, this one here. Hold on, I might be able to get this one. Oh, yeah. Wow, that is heavy.
You got it or me?
I got it. So where should I put it?
Let's sit right down there on that.
So this is my head. Okay, here's the pistons. They don't look bad.
They don't look bad.
I've seen some bad pistons online when they show you what's bad and blown fuses, blown pistons. But they're actually not too bad.
They're pretty, I would say they're probably low compression pistons.
What does that mean? These are pistons.
I don't know if I got... okay, you see some heads that got a big knot on them up here, and they got little cutouts for the valves.
Okay.
I don't think them have. Let's have a look at these. They do have cutouts for the valves, but basically they're probably about the same compression as yours. See right there?
Oh yeah.
That's a relief cutout in it for the valve, so the valve don't hit the head.
So how come mine doesn't have one?
Yours don't. Yours is actually probably a little bit more compression. No, not the same. Yours has got a relief in the whole piston. You see, yours is sunk down in the whole thing, where mine's flat for a little while, and then it's got a little cutout for them. These are.
And which engine is yours again?
That 351 right there.
351.
But you see some. I don't have any here that have a dome on them, and then they're like that high.
I've seen those ones.
Well, that's a high compression piston that they make more power
Okay.
than these. These are probably pretty standard for passenger vehicles that ain't sporty.
Now
like
can we
pickup
change the
trucks.
pistons?
Oh yeah.
Okay.
Yeah, you're definitely going to want to change pistons, possibly even rods. Try to use your
Rods with a little bit more bigger holes.
Rods are what connect to the bottom of this right here. You'll see them in a minute when we flip this over.
Okay.
The rod connects the piston to the crank. And them are rods too, but that's for this up here, that's for your lifters.
Because my whole understanding of the engine is the more fuel, the more air it gets, the more power it's going to make.
Right.
So if you can adjust all those things that bring in the fuel and the air, then, and of course make sure that you're able to have those things that can withhold.
The piston is kind of another element of that. It don't really have a whole lot to do with the air or the fuel, but a domed piston will compress the air a whole lot tighter because it's squeezing it tighter inside the cylinder, inside the head.
And this is important as well, the inside here.
Yeah.
Because the machine guys, they're going to clean all that up, right?
Yeah, they'll probably...
The smoother that is, the better it is, right?
Yeah, they may even bore it, make it the next size up. It just depends on how much it takes to clean it up. It don't look too bad. This thing sit a lot because you can see the ring marks where it was sitting. But yeah, they will do what needs to be done in here. Probably for new pistons. All the bottom part will be new.
And I would have to tell them what kind of new pistons I'm putting in before I take it to them.
Well, yeah, you'll probably take them what you want. You'll get your... Well, no, you can't do that because they may have to go oversize on them. They'll tell you what it needs. Like it needs bored over, it needs this and that, and then you'll get the pistons for that size, whatever they tell you, and then they will build it, machine it and build it for them pistons, crank, rods, and all that stuff.
Okay.
But this thing needs a bath more than anything.
It needs a bath?
Yeah. It's thick. Let's see, we'll get this other one off. We'll pull them lifters out and we'll flip it over to the other side.
Okay, well we've got to get this one off.
Yeah.
This down here.
We'll set that other one back And then set that.
You already loosened it?
I think so.
Yeah.
Same thing basically. Don't look bad.
So how come this side, this one here is up? Is that just basically where the car shut off
Yeah.
from?
Mm-hmm.
Okay, that's why it's got the different levels.
Yeah, as it'll fire.
Yeah.
It'll fire.
And when they
Let's see.
fire, they go up and down.
Let's see, this would be the front. 1, 8, 4, 3,
You know the pattern?
6, 5, 7, 7, and 2. In that order. Yeah, I know the firing order. 1, 8.
Does everybody know the firing order of the pistons?
1, 8, 4, 3, 6, 5, 7, 2.
We still haven't exposed the block, have we?
This is the block.
This is the
right
back block right here, okay.
It's still got the
Crank.
crank, pistons, rods, cam, timing chain cover.
That's right here.
Yeah, pulleys and harmonic balancer on it.
Well, I might go ahead and start taking this off.
Yeah, you can go ahead and pull that pulley off there. That'll be a 5, 8.
And I'm curious to see how the harmonic balancer works.
You won't see no more than what you see right now.
Oh,
It would dampen the shock of the pistons when they fire. A dampener, harmonic balancer, whatever you want to call it. But
okay.
I think it just absorbs the shock of the pistons on the crank.
So now we're going to start taking the front end off. Took off those 3 bolts. Now I'm going to take off the centerpiece. Harmonic balancers behind it, which is pretty cool. Just learnt about that. Now we don't have the harmonic balance pulley to get it out, but Kent's got something else that we're going to try and use that and see how we're going to take this out. But yeah, once we do that, then we can get inside and have a look at the crankshaft and the pistons as well. And all of this is rubbish, isn't it?
No, keep that.
Okay.
Up here.
So now this is where we need to get the harmonic balancer pulley.
Mm-hmm.
So your thing there, I'll take this part off. And apparently we have to actually put this back on off memory. Do we? Yeah. We put this screw back in there because this is going to help us pull it out, right?
No, not now.
No?
Not yet. You should, harmonic balance puller should have a bolt already in it to pull that with.
I mean, I'm thinking that why can't I just take all these bolts off and remove the whole thing as one big piece?
That's pressed onto the crankshaft.
Okay. This is what Kent's got. So what do you call this, Kent? A pulley?
We gotta get that off there. It is a puller, but it's not really made for a harmonic bouncer because it could actually pull the.
Oh, is that what I'm thinking? Like that?
Yeah, but on the harmonic bouncer, that should just pop off.
Okay.
Should.
I might use the... Oh. Got this one off. Now, Okay, that makes sense now. Let's try and put this pulley on. No idea what I'm doing, Ken, so I'm just going to give this a go.
Don't look like it's gonna. See, it won't open wide enough to get a hold to the back of that.
Oh, okay, I see what you're saying. It's got to grab these.
Yeah, it's supposed to grab it, but really, you could potentially pull that off, but still leave the harmonic balancer on there with that tool.
With this tool?
See that rubber right there?
Okay, grab onto that.
What it would do is that puller would pull on this and it would pull that off, but this part would stay on there.
And they're very oily, so how are you getting the lifters out?
Well, I was using this magnet to pull them up, but some of them's just coming up so far and they don't want to come out the rest of the way. You might have to get
Magnets.
some pliers on it or something.
Okay. I'm going to try and remove this without a harmonic balancer pulley. Like Kent said, we can even try to take out the center piece and leave the big piece out here. Try to get some of it off. Do you need smaller fingers?
No, I got that. Just gotta get them up where we hook to.
Got it. I was wondering what was fighting you. All right, I've got to try to figure how I'm going to do this. What's that other thing? I'm doing this very wrong. So that's a 2-jaw puller.
And that other one is 3.
Yeah.
It's no wider though. Maybe it would go either mine if I move these.
Oh yeah.
Still probably ain't gonna get a hold of it.
Kent is going to make us a pulley. And yes, these things just absolutely excite me because I think it's awesome.
He's going to attempt to make it.
All right, Kent's going to attempt to make a pulley here to pull the harmonic balancer out. We don't have the actual harmonic balance pulley, so he's thinking, well, he can just drill some holes onto this metal plank. This is awesome stuff.
Let me find that in the center. Right there. Drill, drill, drill. Here it works.
So he's already marked the circles on that, where he's going to drill.
everybody's gonna make comments about this, but it's it.
What are they going to make comments about?
Me drilling this plate like this.
Why, it's very wrong.
Well, it's kind of dangerous.
Dangerous, okay. Well, you've got your safety goggles on.
Well, I can't put that plate in here because
It doesn't
won't
fit?
open up big enough. That's what everybody's going to be talking about. How dangerous that is to drill in holes and not be secured in a plate. But do what you got to do.
And it's your shop, so you can do what you want.
That's right.
There you go.
If they don't like it, they can change the channel.
There you go.
Try this one. See if it does a little better, maybe.
That's better.
It's a little better. I don't know if it's big enough. Let's see. You gotta be able to get that bolt through it.
The big bolt, the center bolt.
Yeah. Or we could use a different bolt, but that should get us.
It's not reaching.
No, but I can stick something in here, like a plug or something, where that comes out close to the surface,
Okay.
like a metal plug, because you don't want this screwing, touching that crank anyway, because it could scar it up.
Okay.
You want something in there that this threads into, but not
Just like a metal piece to hold it.
right, like a metal plug or a socket, anything. Here looks pretty close. There's some 3 bolts that. May have fried the dang nut to it. No, it's good.
Made your own nut and bolt.
Hmm.
You made your own bolt.
That's one we need. It goes in this way. What that's gonna do is push on there. It's gonna pull.
And then when you take it out,
It's gonna pull on that plate. If it's gonna work or not.
better find out. In theory, it should definitely work if they're all fit in. And then your idea is just to yank that whole plate out.
The idea is to crank this inward. And by cranking it inward, should be pulling that pulley.
Whoa, we got movement.
That was the motor turning over.
Okay. Doesn't take much to impress me.
We need to stop that. Yeah, it's definitely pulling it.
It is, it's doing something.
It's pulling it one side.
Because I can see some of the rubber detaching.
Yeah. It's pulling on one side more than the other.
Mm-hmm.
That's what it's doing. Keep it straight. See how you can start to see the crank down there?
Yep, I can.
But it's still just a little bit, it's pulling more over here than it is on the other side. But it's pulling it off. Honestly, other than it's just getting cockeyed on there. There it is. Come a bunch there.
It's got a, woo, there it is. Well done, sir. There it is.
And that socket, it was sitting there so it protected your threads there. That's what you don't want to damage. A lot of things, people run bolts in there that ain't the right size and they'll mess some threads up. Well, that's your crank. That's something you don't want to get messed up.
That's why you had put that in there. So when we put our own little device thing in, it was going nowhere near inside the crank.
Instead of running up in there and messing your threads up.
That was plate that was holding the fuel pump.
Right, yeah.
See, some of the things that I'm learning is sticking with me.
And there's supposed to be a tag here that comes out. You can see it's broke off. There's what's left of it. And there's a little mark on here. See it right there?
Ow. Oh, yeah.
And there's a little arrow on that tag that lines up with, and that tells you where your motor is at internally, where top dead center number 1 is.
Okay.
All that kind of stuff.
Well, this is part 1, and part 2 is going to involve us taking the crankshaft out and cleaning up the engine. All right, everybody. Part 2, we're going to continue on and take out the crank as well. And I'm going to figure out locally which machine shop to take this over to go get it cleaned up. And then we're going to look at ordering some parts and seeing how much we can increase the power of this. Hope you've enjoyed that. Give us your comments. And of course, the highlight of the day is Kent just figuring out how to make something. And you did it well. It worked, you know. Took a bit of time, but you got it out. There it is. That's what it's all about. If you don't have the tools, what can you make at home? That's good stuff right there. So I enjoyed that. But I'll keep you guys in the loop, and remember to like and subscribe. Tell me what you think. Say bye, Kent. That's him saying bye. Bye.